There's an overwhelming amount of financial advice in the news and on social media. Who do you listen to? Are they looking out for what's best for you? How do you tune out the noise? In this podcast, trusted advisors Emily Agosto, CPA, and Amanda Vaught, JD, bring their extensive education and experience to delve into all aspects of personal finance. Emily and Amanda make topics like investing, taxes, and financial planning interesting and accessible. And they provide a framework to help you think through the plethora of financial advice and news out there. Are you ready to start making the best personal financial decisions for you? Welcome to Connecting the Dollars with Propel Financial Advisors.
Hello, Amanda.
Hey, Emily, how's it going?
Going great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really enjoying my summer so far.
Great.
I know earlier, what?
It's almost over.
It feels like it, right? It always goes too fast. But we still have August. I mean, here I'm in New York, and so our school doesn't start till September. I know.
Okay.
Here in Illinois, and it starts in August, so
Mhm.
a little different schedule.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, summer is going quickly, but today we wanted to talk about some budgeting and some hobbies. And Amanda was looking at Twitter this morning and shared with me this kind of wild budget. Is it really that wild? Let's see.
It's a little wild. We'll put a link to it in the show notes. But it was circulating on Twitter, which is now called X, apparently.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. So it was a budget for somebody who was making a significant income, $77,000 per month.
Wow.
And what they spent it on. Yes. The mortgage was almost $30,000.
I feel like their utilities should be higher, like only $1,200.
Yeah, you would think of a $29,000 mortgage would be a sizable house, which would generate a significant electricity bill, but I don't know.
Maybe they had like solar panels.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway.
Some things, you're like, this doesn't really add up, but a lot of people on Twitter were commenting on the personal trainers at $4,000 a month, which I personally thought sounded reasonable. And if I had $77,000 a month, I would totally spend that much money on a personal trainer. I don't know.
If I could, I would as well.
Yeah, like why not? The nanny, $10,000 a month, I would probably give that nanny a raise because so thankful for their help, But I mean, it's easy to sit back and judge how other people spend their money, which is what I definitely don't want to do because I don't know this person at all. I don't know their priorities or their goals or anything. They do have nice handwriting.
Yes, they do.
But I would just say though, one of the things that jumped out to me was just that savings was not a specifically delineated number.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it. They have the 401k contributions, which is great. But also you can only put so much in a 401k. And with this kind of income, and to support this kind of lifestyle, I would definitely recommend having a separate line item, putting a significant number into your savings account.
Yeah, and especially since they have line items for kids and nanny and kids tutors, like we know they have children, and are they putting money into a 529? Because it doesn't seem like it on this list.
No, unless obviously they could have family money, which would get, so I mean, we don't know enough background to know, but if they don't have family money, then I would definitely consider the 529. And definitely more savings than just a 401k.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, they have fun on this list and MISC, which I would assume MISC is for like, a car repair or something for the house, maybe that needs to get done. And for fun, who knows what that could be, maybe going to the movies every week with the whole family or whatever. But something missing from this list is any specific hobbies this family
Yeah.
might have.
Yeah. Um, and so, right, we don't know. I feel like they could be really boring. Maybe they don't
Yeah.
have any
They
hobbies.
work out 5 days a week. That's all they
Yeah,
do.
they're busy. They have kids. I mean, no judgment if that's
Of
all you
course not.
got. But of course, yeah. But for a lot of people, I found working with people through their budgets also, as a lot of people do not specifically list out their hobbies as an
Mhm.
item in their budget. And I think, I'm not a trained psychologist or anything, but I think one of the reasons for that is for a lot of people, their hobby is just something that's fun.
Mhm.
Keeping track of the expenses related to it is not fun. And so they don't really want to think about how much they're spending on the hobby
Yeah,
because they just want to do the hobby without worrying about it. Right? Don't you think so?
exactly. Oh yeah, I have no idea how much on like workout clothes over the years, like boxing gloves, new shoes for whatever sport.
Yeah.
And that I would consider a hobby for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I think pets maybe is a separate category, but I think for you,
Yeah.
Emily, pets might move into a hobby.
Yeah.
Um,
I definitely spend a lot on them.
yeah, if it goes if you start fostering animals, you could think of that as a hobby.
Totally.
Maybe. Um,
Yeah, because the definition, and this is specifically from the IRS, is
right.
like, and I think I agree with it just in life generally. It says a hobby is an activity that a person pursues because they enjoy it and with no intention of making a profit. So, yeah, like fostering animals, running. I know, Amanda, you like to run.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I play drums, and I don't think of that as a hobby, but I guess it is. I mean, it
Yeah.
is. It
Yeah.
definitely is.
Like anything that, you know, the IRS has got their little hand in it. So, they have a definition of what a hobby is, even
Yeah,
if we don't think of it the way that IRS does, right?
exactly.
Um, yeah, but yeah, I mean, you think like, okay, running. Oh, it's free to go running. Oh, well, actually, no, it's not. I have to buy shoes. Water bottles, even just
Hmm.
extra sunscreen to put
Yeah.
on for running. Now, I get injured, so I'm seeing a physical therapist. That's not cheap, it can add
Yeah.
up if you do a race. I mean, there's definitely expenses.
Hmm.
I'm paying a coach to help me with my running now. Um, so, depending on who you are and what level you are, you're gonna spend different amounts, right?
Yeah. And would you have put running as a line item in your budget? Or
No,
you probably
I
wouldn't have
don't.
thought of it.
I probably would have put the physical therapy because that's like a bill I get in the mail,
Hmm.
or the running coach I have recently hired. Like that's definitely a bill. But I don't know. If I think about buying new running shoes, I think I tend to put it in just my general spending category
Yeah.
instead of as like conscious about it, right? And that's what
Hmm.
we try to encourage our clients and people to do, is to be more conscious about your spending. So considering your hobbies is a part of that, or
Hmm.
could be.
Yes. But so now, though, we're kind of seeing hobbies and businesses, like the line's very blurred between the two because of, I mean, social media. Like you can start a running channel on YouTube. You can talk about, I don't know, I could like give drum lessons on Instagram or something and like try to
Yeah,
sell stuff to people.
you could
So
talk like a
when,
robot on TikTok and
yeah,
make. Yeah, what's that lady's name? Pink Lady? I can't think of what it
I
was
don't
that
know.
was spreading around. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't do
Okay.
TikTok.
Okay. I'll link it in the comments. It's really bizarre. But from an outsider's perspective, it's very bizarre. But this lady makes a significant amount of money doing this on social media.
I'm
So,
sure.
um,
Oh yeah, like the crazy things you come across, like just people going shopping for their family.
yes,
It's
yes.
wild what gets monetized and what people watch.
Mhm.
So
There's all kind of things, right? And I think,
yeah.
as you alluded to earlier, the IRS has a definition of hobbies because there's different tax and financial treatment by the IRS between a hobby and a business, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, you want to dive into those differences a little bit more, Emily?
Yeah, for sure. So if you're making money if you just like happen to make money, like for example, my father-in-law likes to do stained glass. That's like his winter activity that he likes to do. Because in the summer
Oh,
he
that's super
golfs, in
cool.
the winter he makes stained glass. Yeah, he's really good at it too. Um, and he doesn't sell them. He just does them like for family or whatever. But if he decided to sell them, or like he just happened to sell one to a friend, and they're like, "Oh, let me give you like $100 for it or something."
Mhm.
Um, that's a hobby. He enjoys doing it. He's not intending to make a profit. If someone paid him $100, like he's spent more than $100 on his tools and on the glass and on the solder and all the supplies he needs. So there really is no profit there. On the other hand, if he like started to sell on Etsy or like, did bank a bunch of pieces and like try to sell them online or wherever, an art fair, a farmer's market,
Mhm.
that's when you have to start thinking about, okay, so now maybe sales tax comes into play and like now there is some profit. So it could just happen kind of naturally for people and they don't even realize like, oh, I have a business now.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a transition, right?
right. But and then there's also people, trying to skirt that line and you stand behind the hobby rule. Like, well, I didn't intend to make money on this ticket that I bought and resold for the Taylor Swift concert. But I mean, if that's just a one-off thing, obviously that's different. But if you are
Mm.
someone who does it regularly, that argument is harder to make.
Yeah. So that's really one of the defining points is the intent of the
Right.
activity. As far as the IRS is concerned. Um,
Exactly.
right. And for a lot of people, can be kind of gray. Like if you collect baseball cards just for fun, but then you realize maybe you have a card that's worth something, you want to start selling it. It's like, oh, maybe this is a business now. And you start to think of it differently.
Yeah.
And then you think, well, should it be a business? Is this, do the finances make sense? And if this whole time you've been having this hobby and not being conscious about your spending about it, because it's just something fun you do on the side and you itemize it as fun in your budget, you
Mhm.
don't not really have a handle on the cost versus what a potential profit could be because you don't know what your expenses are, right?
Right. So yeah, it's kind of like two phases we've been talking about, like the budgeting part, like you should, if you have a hobby that requires equipment, like lots of hobbies do, like music or art or fitness, um, just be more aware of that. And then if it kind of does become this business or it flows into something more business-like, then you're already set up to know like, oh, I've spent this much. Um, I don't know. And
Yeah,
is it's not likely for a lot of hobbies to become a business by accident. Like usually people are
right.
trying to make that happen. Um, so yeah, I mean, if
But
you are
like if
trying to
you
make
have a
that
one,
happen,
well, oh, go ahead.
yeah, if you are trying to make that happen, you do have to pay taxes on it and like do everything correctly because the IRS has all these rules, and I'll link those in the show notes too.
Yeah, yeah. It's never a good idea to mess with the IRS.
That should be a t-shirt,
I
a
think that
bumper sticker, but I don't know. I
I don't
shouldn't
know if that's considered
advertise
tax
that.
tax advice, and we give a disclaimer at the end that we're not giving tax advice. So don't mess with the IRS, I think is a good rule of thumb to live by.
General enough.
Yes, it's general enough.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's not fun to get in trouble with them. Um, so yeah, so I don't know. I think I like working with people and hearing about what their hobbies are. So, if you have one that you're working on, please share.
Yeah.
Because it is, if we, are working with you and we do look at your budget and it's not listed, we also don't know it exists. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I will ask, but
Yeah. Yes. I have so many hobbies. I like baking. I like
mm,
hiking. Are those hobbies? Yeah. Like I've spent money on
maybe it's like a
binoculars
hiking, yeah.
to watch
Depends.
birds. I bought new hiking
Oh,
shoes.
I think birding is a hobby for sure.
Totally.
Like a
I'm not like,
specific activity.
yeah, I'm not that deep. Like I don't have the
Mm.
khaki vest and the zoom lens.
Yeah, I think what was Danielle saying, her one friend didn't want to be into hiking, but she could do like a stroll.
Oh yeah, she had to
So
call it like a
I think
nature stroll.
I think strolling is like a pastime, but like hiking could be a hobby. I don't know.
Okay. That makes sense.
So
I see that.
anyway. Yeah, so and you know, for me, running has been a lot of my free time. I did get into a lot of like arts and crafts, especially during the pandemic. I was knitting and I was making candles and I was taking drawing classes. That stuff was really fun. Floral design, arranging
Oh,
flowers, that was a really fun one.
that's cool.
You know, but those were all hobbies, you know, it never turned into anything.
Right.
But some people, you know, if they're working their whole life and maybe they have a hobby they love and they hope to do that maybe more in retirement. And if we're looking at retirement planning, you know, that's getting a handle on some of those expenses can help for that kind of income planning in the future as well. So
Yeah, definitely. Trying to think like what is one of the more expensive hobbies I've heard of? Like, I don't know, something that needs a lot of equipment.
oh, like people who are into boating,
Oh,
if you're
boating. That's
that can get
expensive.
expensive, obviously. I don't know. People who are
Ah,
into cars can get expensive.
oh,
My
totally.
sister's husband was really into buying cars.
Like fixing them up and things like that.
Yeah, totally. So,
That's cool.
anyway. Okay, well, I think we've reached the point where we're just rambling now. So,
I love this topic of hobbies though. It's
I
like
know I
we
do.
get to
It's
think of
fun to
stuff
talk about.
outside of work.
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, this summer I really wanted to join the sailing club. I injured my shoulder, so I wasn't able to do that. So, I'm planning to do that next summer. And now I can budget for it in advance since we've had this
Yeah,
conversation. So,
perfect.
yeah.
Yes. So bottom line, think about your hobbies, even though they're fun, like if they are, taking up a significant amount of your budget, maybe pay a little more attention to that. And if you are trying to make your make your hobby into a business, don't forget to invite the IRS into that thought.
Yes. Okay. I hope everybody's enjoying their summer.
Yep. Have a good one. Thanks.
Okay. Bye, Emily.
Bye.
That will do it for this episode of Connecting the Dollars. Nothing discussed in this episode should be considered legal, financial, or tax advice. If you like what you heard, please subscribe for more at Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your content. When you do, please give us a rating and a review. To see the links we mentioned in our show, along with other great Propel Financial Advisors content, go to connectingthedollars.com. You can find our past episodes there and subscribe to our newsletter. And if you're still here because you have a general question, you can email us directly at info@connectingthedollars.com. Or if you're interested in working with us, click the Schedule a Consultation button on our website. Thank you for listening.